President. I actually like good local journalism. I'm going to fight as hard as I can in the United States Congress to keep local journalism and fight AI that basically might obliterate it for all intents and purposes. So I'm just going to read my statement here. In an article printed in the Vancouver Columbian on August 11th, 2025, the headline is, Child Care Owner Urges Congress to Take Action to Save the Affordable Care Act Tax Credit Expansions. The owner of East Vancouver Child Care Center joined Senator Cantwell, D. Washington, Monday to draw attention to Washington's rising health care costs. The two spoke at a news conference at Tree Hill Learning Center on East 196th Avenue, along with representatives from the local insurance agency and the workforce Southwest Washington. Washington's insurance commissioner said that in May, the 14 health insurers in the state were seeking a rate increase for next year, and the proposed increases for plans sold on the individual health insurance market averaged 21% and ranged from anywhere from 9.6% to 37.3%. The office expects premium increases to affect 300 people statewide. Dana Christensen, the owner of Tree Hill Learning Center, said this isn't the first time she has faced rising healthcare costs for her two Vancouver child care facilities. Each year, I face a difficult decision of how much this rate increase, currently 24%, do I take on and absorb, Christensen said. How much do I pass on to the employee? How much do I pass on to the families in the form of higher child care tuition increases? Each rate increase request is evaluated independently by actuarial staff, said Aaron Van Tool, spokesman for the Insurance Commissioner's Office. That's mandated by state law. But the rate changes are usually finalized in September, Van Tool said. Claims and administrative costs, medical, prescription drugs, company expenses, profits will be reviewed by the Commissioner's Office as all part of determining if they are reasonable. Cantwell called the proposed increases a threat to child care affordability. The Insurance Commissioner's Office said Congress anticipated failure to renew the enhanced premium tax credits is contributing to the proposed increases. Congress created the premium tax credits in 2014 as part of the Affordable Care Act to lower health care plan premiums for eligible households. The American Rescue Plan in 2021 expanded who was eligible for the credit, and the Inflation Reduction Act extended it to this year. It is set to expire at the end of this year. We all know the increased rates are something we can deal with in Congress, Cantwell said. That is why today I'm urging Congress to take action on the Affordable Care Act tax credits and their expansions, and to make sure we do so before the end of the year. The Senator's office said rate increases are being requested nationwide, and 3 states have already approved them. The Congressional Budget Office expects fewer people will participate in subsidized exchanges, and the uninsured rate will climb if the enhanced premiums aren't extended. NBC News reported earlier this year that Republican lawmakers are split on whether to extend the tax credit. Some said the federal government could no longer support it, while others wanted it extended. Just a little side note before I keep reading. At that point in time, 5 of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle said they wanted the tax credits extended. That was early in August. The Washington Health Benefit Exchange, the state's health insurance marketplace, estimated 216,000 health plan enrollees in Washington were eligible for the enhanced premium credits. Christensen said her business already operates on thin margins. I view providing health care benefits not as a perk, but a fundamental necessity, she said. I never want an unforeseen illness to financially ruin an employee or force them to neglect their health care. Still, rising health care costs are forcing her clientele to reconsider if they can afford to keep their child in a licensed facility or continuing to work at all. Quote, "We cannot solve this problem alone," Christensen said. We need the support of lawmakers, the insurance industry, the regulatory agencies to address the root cause of the rates and increases disproportionately affecting those who need it most. As the clock continues to tick here, that's actually the end of the story. I wanted to read that story because that was August, and it showed at that point in time we had people on this side of the aisle who wanted to negotiate. They were in the news. I summated it by saying there were 5 people, but I'm sure there's more by now. So that is why we're asking with this simple proposal, let's open the government, extend these tax credits for a year, because we know there's bipartisan support in both the House and Senate to do that, and continue to reform this so we can keep this child care facility in Vancouver, Washington in business. Let's not make this, we've shared a lot of stories about individual people, but we haven't shared enough stories about the small business impact and the economic impact to employers when you take affordable health insurance away from them and they don't have options. This owner lamented in the story, which should I do? Do I absorb these costs and not be a profitable business? Do I make these employees not have health insurance? Do I raise these costs and then these parents can't have the child care that they need to stay? She told me on that day that literally some people decided to stop work because they no longer could afford child care. So this is ruining our whole economic picture by making insurance too expensive, by making the cost play too big a role in our economy and taking workers away from us. So I support this one-year proposal. I support us working together to reform the system. I've championed many things in the Affordable Care Act that have driven down costs, and I will work with any of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to continue and expand that work, because it is important. It is important for us to continue to have affordability, particularly in health care, as we have a rising baby boomer population reaching retirement age. We have no other choice but then to focus on affordability. I thank the President, and I yield the floor.